Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in today for some real true crime coverage. Special hi to the replay crew. It means a lot if you can't be here for the lives, because I know this is a pretty action time on YouTube. There's a lot going on and a lot of live streams, so I appreciate that you come by on a replay. So that's awesome. Pam Smith, good morning, darling. Good to see you, always. Idaho, which is what the place we're looking at today. I had my pick, really. I wonder why my StreamYard's not working. I might have to restart it. I'm not sure, but that's okay. I had my pick of cases that I could do from Idaho. We've got, of course, the Idaho 4. We've got... my mind went blank. Laurie Vallow and Chad Daybell. We've got that coming up. The case is going to be really interesting. I'm going to follow that really closely. And then, of course, the cases that we're going to talk about today. Monkey, Vaughn. That's a story that a lot of people are aware of. Oh, my co-host has just turned up. Hi. You ready to work? Or not? Yeah? Or you just going to sleep? Just had a feed. Pam said, yeah, some strange shit goes on in Idaho. So sad. Yeah, it is. And strange stuff does go on in Idaho for sure. For some reason, I can't show your comments online, which is real bloody annoying. Hey, Grandma. Yeah, Ronnie's late, but at least he's here today because, he hasn't been reliable lately. All right, one last thing, guys. I am 3 subs away from being at 2,500 subs. So give a girl a sub. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, I don't care which, and give me a sub so I can get to that 2,500. And geez, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you, because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here doing this. All right, let's get into the case. 2 cases today, and the first one is going to be Monkey Vaughn, which is, we're just going to go over what happened and then get the updates, what's sort of going on now, because there is stuff going on all the time with this case in the background that people might not be aware of. But let's, for the first time, let's hope this works. Okay. Oh, hang on. Oh, there it is. Okay, having problems today. So let's look at a little bit about Idaho. Idaho is a state in the Pacific Northwest region of the western United States. To the north, it shares a small portion of the Canada-United States border with the province of British Columbia. It borders the states of Montana and Wyoming to the east, Nevada and Utah to the south, and Washington and Oregon to the west. So it's surrounded by quite a few places. The state's capital and largest is Boise, with an area of a shitload. And Idaho is the 14th largest state by land area, with a population of approximately 1.8 million. Hey Denise, good to see you. Hey Julie, good to see you, my darling. It ranks as the 13th least populous and the 7th least densely populated of the 50 US states. Now, I just wanted to read this little bit at the bottom as well. Hopefully you can see, if you don't know where Idaho is, it's the little red thing there. The state's north, the relatively isolated Idaho panhandle, is closely linked with eastern Washington, with which it shares the Pacific time zone. The rest of the state uses mountain time zone. So I thought that was quite interesting at one state having 2 different time zones. I think that's a bit weird. Someone just gave me a sub. I'm on 2498. You guys rock. Love it. Thank you so much. So let's get into the story. You went to sub with your alternate, Grandma Sherry. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I love you all. Okay, so this is from medium.com. Michael Joseph Vaughn was an energetic, playful 5-year-old boy growing up in Fruitland, Idaho. Let's take a really quick look at Fruitland. Go away. So if we just get in here, and yep, it's getting there. Okay. So we've got Fruitland over here, and you can see there's a couple of highways there. One of the big things is this is a very rural area. It's got, rural everywhere around it, but we will take a closer look where he lived. And he lived down here on Southwest 9th Street. So you can see there's a lot of land and paddocks and stuff like that around it. Okay. He was so energetic and playful, in fact, that he earned himself the name Monkey. And that's how we know him quite well, as Monkey. He loved cars, especially race cars, and his mum, Brandy, described her son as all boy. On the evening of July 27th, 2021, he walked out of his house hoping to find a friend to play outside with. Apparently he went to like 2 or 3 neighbours' houses and knocked on the doors, but no friends were allowed to come and play. Meanwhile, back at home, Brandy was ordering dinner for the family. She was unaware that Michael had slipped out the door, and Monkey has not been seen since. Hey, Wyoming, good to see you, love. Now, there's a few articles, and some of them are going to say the mum was home. Some are going to say both the mum and the dad were home. Some are going to say the dad was at work and was called by the mum and raced home. So, yeah, Grandma Sherry, you know a lot about the case. Awesome. So if I get anything wrong, let me know. This case, obviously, goes to Fruitland, located about an hour from Boise. Fruitland itself is a small town, typically a safe town with a population of around 5,000. Yeah, when I've finished the case, Grandma, I'll drop a link. You can come up and fill us in on anything that I did get wrong or anything that I missed out. That would be cool. Now, the area where Michael lived with his family was a quiet neighborhood, mostly ranch-style houses with smaller lots in a pretty open area, as we've seen. Not many trees or obstructions, although many of the houses do have privacy fences. His street is a relatively short dead-end road. So Pam said Dad was home, changed baby and ordered pizza. And then I'm getting here that Mum was home. So, you know, hopefully at the end of it, Grandma Sherry can come up and let us know exactly the truth. You know what I mean? On the evening of July 27-21, Brandy, Neil and her husband were discussing what to order for dinner around 6:30. Unbeknownst to them, 5-year-old Michael slipped out the garage door. Brandy didn't hear him leave his mum, and since their front door makes a lot of noise and would be more difficult for him to open, she knew he must have gone out the garage door. Again, he went to a couple of friends' places, knocking on the door, trying to find kids to play, but the kids weren't allowed to come out. Meanwhile, back at home, Brandy and her husband finally realised he was missing, started looking for him all over the house, the yard, and then finally the neighbourhood. And when they failed to turn up any sign of Michael anywhere, they called the FDP, the Fruitland Police Department. Authorities responded right away, but unfortunately were unable to put out an Amber Alert. Now, the state of Idaho as most states do in this circumstance, requires evidence of an abduction to put out a formal alert. They would put out a missing and endangered alert at 8:30 p.m, nearly 2 hours after Michael walked out of his home. Pam says this is used to me. Yeah, like I said, one article will say one thing and one will say the other, so it gets some things get a bit lost and a bit confusing. So I'm hoping as we go along, and with you guys' help, we can actually get the truth and the facts, Searches came out in droves, and eventually over a dozen agencies would become involved, including the FPD, the FBI, and state police and other departments. The Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Team comes out with their trained canines to search. Investigators used drones to search, and what would end up being over 4,000 acres, which is a hell of a lot. The Snake River area was searched, as were nearby canals. Since nothing at all was found in the ways of clues or evidence, police began to believe in the likelihood of an abduction. And this is, of course, the Minecraft t-shirt that he was wearing. Grandma says she worked with the family. Pam, you seen an interview with her. She was not there. Like I said, I'll get you girls up at the end and you can clarify anything that is wrong, because, I'm trying to rely on these places to tell the truth, which is not always the case. So this little blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy in his Minecraft t-shirt, boxer shorts and flip-flops had vanished. The mum insisted that no one she knew could be responsible, and during this time, Brandy and her family were hysterical, of course, and desperate to find Michael. The police stated that while nothing had been completely ruled out, the family has been extremely engaged and cooperative from the very beginning. Searches continue for Michael, and investigators start fielding hundreds of tips. The Chief of Police, J.D. Huff, said an investigator has been assigned to each and every lead that had come in. Most have turned up absolutely nothing, and the others are just inconclusive. Police were reviewing surveillance footage from homes near Michael's home that had any type of security cameras or ring doorbells, anything like that. While mostly everything appeared normal on the street around that time, the cops noticed a few things. Now, I haven't seen this next bit in other places, but you guys can fix me if this is wrong. So, while mostly everything, I said that at 6:47, a Honda Pilot drove down the street. Further investigation showed that no one on the street had a Honda Pilot or could identify who it belonged to. So they wanted to talk to this person, not because they believed they were a suspect or anything. They just thought they may have seen something. They haven't identified, that car. Investigators also spotted a Dodge Avenger driving by during the same time, and they haven't been able to locate them either. Police put information out over and over again. They just want to talk to these people to see if they might have been witnesses to something. They also seen a man walking to the drainage area behind some of the nearby homes. He has not been identified either, and police wanted to talk to him. So that's all the information I've used from this place. And remember, all the sources, all the links will be in the description box below. So if you want to go away and look at the places I've been reading or whatever, you can do so. Okay. So this one is idahonews.com. You can see his beautiful wave face there, and he's there with his mum. On December 1st, 2022, FPD Chief J.D. Huff believes Michael Vaughn is sadly deceased. Police have not found his remains, but continue searching for them. Police believe 4 people are involved in his abduction. Sarah Wandra is in custody for failing to report a death to law enforcement. Her husband, Stacey, is also in custody on unrelated charges. And of course, that's Whoopi Goldberg. That's not the lady we're talking about. That's Whoopi. We know Whoopi. Police want to question at least 2 others about the case. Brandon Shurtleff of Kuna, Idaho is believed to be in North Dakota. Adrian Lucian of Toledo, Ohio is currently believed to be in Toledo but floats between California and Ohio. Police believe that these 2 have first-hand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Officers believe Michael was buried at the property on Red Wing Street and that his remains were moved to an unknown location. Hey, Autumn Falls, good to see you, darling. So if we go back to this map here, actually, this Red Wing Street is over here, and down here was obviously where Michael Monkey lived. So this is where they think he was buried in the yard somewhere for some time, and then his body has been removed. So we know he would be 6 years old, missing from July 27, 2021. Posters, flyers and news coverage have led to about 1,500 tips and dozens of people being interviewed. His mum, Brandy, made several public appeals for help and information regarding the disappearance of her son. I don't understand why that day was so different, she said in an interview. 1 minute he's here and people see him and the next he's just gone. Very, very sad. But this is something that comes out of his disappearance, which is kind of positive. On Wednesday, April 27th, 2022, Governor Brad Little signed a law that creates a new missing person alert statewide. It's known as Monkey's Law, the nickname of Michael, of course. The law establishes an emergency alert system that is parallel to the Amber Alert. So this is something real positive that comes out of this sad case. We know that people can't do an Amber Alert if there is not information that needed, you know what I mean? But now statewide, this system can alert people. So absolutely amazing. On Saturday, November 12th, 2022, FPD began searching the backyard of the residence near Michael's home. At the time, Chief Huff said there was a high probability of remains in the property. On November 14th, 2022, police arrested Sarah Wandra, who lived at the home that they were searching. She is accused of failing to report a death to the coroner. Now, what were we doing the other day when I was here? The case that we talked about on my last live stream, and that person got done for failing to report the missing child. And then we had Chad and Daybell that didn't report their children missing. So yeah, something about Idaho. I don't know. On November 21st, a judge determined she is mentally unfit to proceed and postponed her court dates. It says here they were scheduled for December 23rd, but I know that that's actually been pushed back and now she won't be appearing till early May. So Sarah Wandra, the woman accused of failing to notify police of Michael's death, is being evaluated by the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare for competency to stand trial. By law, the court has to check in with defendants every 90 days to avoid people being lost in the system while waiting trial. So her evaluation is ongoing. But yes, like I said, I think it's going to be pushed back to... Hi, Whoopi. Hi, Whoopi. Been a long time since I've seen you, Whoopi. Probably last time was Sister Act, Whoopi, which was a while ago, but really funny. So we're going to idahonews.com now. I'm sort of, I've got quite a few, and I'm trying to get new information with every article we get. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of this. I can't play a lot because of copyright. Please let me know if you can hear it.
Michael Vaughn. He is the Fruitland boy who disappeared more than a year ago. Police now tell CBS2 he's likely dead, though they don't have his body. And we followed their search for Michael every step of the way. And now CBS2's Michaela Elledge has more about what we're learning now tonight. Well, police now believe 4 people are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn, and even more people know about what happened. After following more than 1,500 leads and digging up a yard for nearly a week, still no Michael Vaughn.
So, as I say, you can go through the entire video yourself in the description box below. But, yeah, they did a serious excavation. Hey, Malak, good to see you, hun. And obviously, the police again believe that 4 people are involved who are in custody. And police are wanting to question those other 2 people, saying that they know more. Police say that the Wanderers was living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland at the time of Michael's disappearance. They believe Sarah and Stacey have first-hand knowledge of his abduction. Police say they received credible... Oh, did you not hear it? Oh, I'm sorry, but it's in the description box, so you can't hear it. Officers say they received credible information the remains of Michael could be found at the home on Red Wing Street. They obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards, and the search warrant was served on November 11th last year. When entering the home, officers found Sarah and arrested her based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death. On November 12th, the FPD, joined by the Idaho State Police, Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began excavating on the backyard of the home. That process, like rescue and mountain states detection dogs, deployed multiple certified human remain detection canines on the property. And that was a hard thing to say, but all of those dogs alerted to the presence of human remains on that property. Ground penetrating radar was also deployed, detecting anomalies in the yard. Crews completed the excavation process 4 feet deep and removed over 250 yards of dirt. I don't know how much that is, but it sounds like a whole lot. Prior to filling the yard back in, crews sifted the dirt for any potential remains, but they did not find monkeys' remains. They strongly believe, however, that based on the evidence, Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried on this property and later removed. It said police were searching a neighbouring home on Friday, and that they have received more than 1,500 tips at this stage. Now, I'm running out of words today. The words are just not coming to me. There's information down the bottom here of if you have any information regarding Michael Monkey disappearance and presumed deceased, they're in the description box below. So let's go to idahopress.com. Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about that bill that passed because of Monkey, because it's really, really important. Autumn says, I'm still confused as to how that woman is related to Michael. Did she know the family? From what I've read, no, the family did not know each other at all. Denise says it took 2 years, 2 months, and 22 days for my case, even though they had arrested that night. Yeah, that's a long time, eh? It takes far too long. Absolutely. So, when 5-year-old Monkey went missing from Fruitland in July, authorities did not issue an Amber Alert. Nearly 8 months later, he still hadn't been found. now pending Idaho Senate legislation, is working to develop an alert that would help if a similar instance takes place again. When Brandy Neal, Vaughn's mum, heard that the thing was moving through the legislature, she said she was in tears. She said, "I want everyone to contact their representatives to pass the bill, because if this happened to one of your babies, one of your family members," she said. The bill passed the House 46-18 with no debate. So this SB 1378, which would initiate an endangered missing persons alert in the state, was introduced in the Senate on March 17th. As Lee stood on the Senate floor that day, she described the shock community went through when Vaughn went missing from his neighbourhood. She said, "It shook our community, and I think it shook our state. We quickly realised that his case did not qualify for an Amber Alert." And I wish they would do this in other states, because there seems to be a whole lot of cases that don't qualify for an Amber Alert because it just doesn't meet certain requirements. And that's really sad. So I really implore legislators in every state that do something like this, because this is really good. So they're just saying Harry went missing. His scent was traced by police dogs to the end of the street. Then it stopped, apparently. In the followed months, community members supportive of the family rallied on social media for a cell phone alert of some kind that would have immediately notified the public of Monkey's disappearance. He did not meet the state's criteria for an Amber Alert, in large part because it was not known if he had been abducted. But in my eyes, what's the harm of putting one out? Even if you don't think he's abducted, you can't find this boy. So, what harm would it have been to put an Amber Alert out? I think they have too many requirements, but that's just me. The mum said the Amber Alert would have greatly helped Michael's case, and it had hindered the ability to find him. The highest probability at the time of notification was that he wandered off, the police chief said. As a result, we did not meet several of the criteria necessary for an Amber Alert. I'm sorry to report that we still do not meet the requirement. The state has now a code red alert, a type of emergency notification that was sent out when Vaughn disappeared. However, community members must be signed up to receive it on their phones, which is why some may not have known about his disappearance till a lot later. The new bill would allow Amber Alerts to stand alone, while discarding some of the other alert systems to consolidate a missing or endangered person alert into just one endangered missing persons alert system. Kirby said in a committee that the bill would create a centralized communication system. The new system, if implemented, would allow Idaho to communicate with surrounding states that also use the system in case a missing person were to cross state lines, which is amazing. So it sounds like some surrounding states may have some sort of system in place when it's not able to be an Amber Alert. So that's really, really good. Autumn Fall says, I sort of understand signing up. Every time there's an Amber Alert or any sort of emergency alert, people flock to Twitter and 911 to complain about them. That's sad, right? That's really sad. Denise says, I think they just need to put it out right away. Absolutely. In the case of a 5-year-old kid, I think they need to put it out right away. Absolutely. This bill will also include those with dementia or Alzheimer's, domestic violence survivors and victims, missing Indigenous people, those with developmental disabilities, human traffic survivors and victims. No one testified against the bill, so it went to the governor for signature. So, indeed, Michael's story is extremely sad, but at least something positive did come out of it, which, sometimes you just got to take the small wins, right? I need 2 more subs to get to 2,500. So if you're watching and you haven't subbed, hit the subscribe button. That would be great. Autumn Falls says we had a missing kid alert in November. I think it was. It went off at like 4 a.m. You'd think people would understand that it was a kid. No. So many angry people complaining about it. Doesn't make sense to me. Makes no sense to me. If there's a missing kid in my area, I want to know. I'll be out there looking. I want to know. So this is inforum.com. So they believe that 4 people had information about what happened to Monkey, and they've got 2 arrested, and this is one of the men they were looking for. So I wanted to put his face out there. Idaho police believe man connected to missing child is in North Dakota. He is wanted for questioning in the abduction of a 5-year-old Idaho child. Police believe Brandon Shurtlift, a 30-year-old man from Idaho with suspected connections to the disappearance of Monkey, is in North Dakota. So if you live in North Dakota, please share this ugly mug around. He is wanted for questioning by the city of Fruitland Police over the abduction of Monkey. Police believe he has first-hand knowledge of the abduction of the now 6-year-old boy, and investigators believe the boy was abducted and sadly deceased. So that's the ugly mug. If you see him around in North Dakota, please want to talk to this mug. I'm saying mug because there's so many other things I'd like to say, but I don't want to use my F-bombs because I'm trying really hard not to F-bomb. Wyoming says I get Amber Alerts on my phone when there's someone missing around here and surrounding states. So does Denise. If it was in New Zealand and we had it, I would want it too. And I don't care what time of the morning or day or night. I would really want to know. Grandma said mug works. Yes, mug. Ugly mug. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. So, January 26th of 2023. So, a couple of months ago. Hi, Doug. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. We have from eastidahonews.com, police are testing DNA in case of missing boy Michael Vaughan. FPD say they have recovered several pieces of evidence and are testing it for DNA. Police say they have sent the evidence Police say they have sent their evidence to a private DNA lab and the results could take some times. Could take some... Fuck. Can't get my words out. It could take some time. Autumn Fall says, I'd say ugly bugger, but I think bugger is a swear word. Yeah, he is an ugly bugger. I don't think bugger is a swear word. So we know in November, investigators dug up the backyard of a home in Fruitland and arrested Sarah Wandra for failure to report the death of Michael Vaughn. After searching the backyard and the home, police said they found no human remains, but believe Michael was possibly killed, buried, and later relocated. Officers are also following up on new information received as a result of the last press conference, where FPD identified 3 other people who lived at the home during the time of the disappearance. Police have since talked with all 3 of them, which includes Sarah's husband, Stacey, who is currently in Washington City jail on charges of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. Sarah Wandra is expected back in court next month, so May, I presume. I've heard, and she has been in custody of the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare to restore competency before having a preliminary hearing. No other charges have been filed in the case. You know what really gets me is I just don't know how they put it together. How did they put it together that these people around the corner down the line are the ones responsible for his disappearance and death? How did they link it to them? I don't find that information. I don't, Grandma, you might know a bit more. This was just some information from his mum. She's talking about him, of course. This is ktvb.com, whereas Michael, mum of missing Fruitland boy, urges people to share his story. So again, this was December 21, 5 months since reported missing. Checked out hundreds of tips, conducted numerous searches, investigated several areas where he could be. But she says, we always put the Christmas tree up as a family and decorate it together. It's always something we do, she said. Talking with the other kids a day before yesterday, we weren't going to put it up this year. Isn't that sad, like wondering if you're going to put the Christmas tree up for the kids because there's a kid that's not there. Yeah, very, very sad. Generosity is something Brandy and her family have seen a lot of in the past months. Fruitland High School students donated a Christmas tree decorated with ornaments, and another act of kindness from a community shaken by the disappearance. This was a blessing, she said as she stared at the tree. But what she's really looking for is a clue to what happened to her young man. She said, I don't even know how to explain how you do it every day and how you keep going, but you can't get it up. You have to try. I can't imagine what that's like, having to live and carry on, because life doesn't stop, right? You got to keep going. Yeah. Then it says she was at work on July 27 while the father was watching the kids. Tyler left the room. Michael was in for a brief moment and returned. He was gone and said he couldn't find Michael, and she got a phone call at work. He was screaming. I could hear the fear in his voice. I froze at the moment, and my co-worker saw me and said, like, go home. She ran, grabbed her purse and drove as far. Hey Max, good to see you. I know exactly what the channel you're from. It's awesome. Dad's Gone Live. Great channel. She said, it's a blur because it was all so much. There were people still searching out in the fields at 4 o'clock in the morning. Community members. We didn't leave the outside for months. She described Michael as friendly and curious boy. She said he rarely wandered off outside by himself. Nearly every time he would go in the front yard, he would be accompanied by a parent or one of his siblings. The few times Michael did venture off by himself, it would never be further than the end of the street. She said the feeling was he may have wandered, but I didn't believe that. She believed that he was abducted. And she said about how he goes by the name Monkey. Even in those few moments she's enjoying time with her family or watching her older kids' activities at school, she feels guilt. She said there were some jokes made and I got very emotional. She said she shared a recent memory with her family. She said, my beautiful daughter said, Mama, it's okay not to live in sadness all the time. And she was right. Yeah, very, very, yeah, crazy. And then it says down here, police were also still wanting to talk to the driver of the white Honda Pilot seen leaving the area, and also looking to identify a man with dark hair wearing a white t-shirt and black shorts seen walking in the area at the same time. These people aren't considered suspects, but they could have information and could have seen it. Autumn Falls said, you remember, yes, and we have 4 members now, because old Pam Smith became a member. So 4 members. I am extremely proud. Absolutely. Still need 2 more subs to get to 2,500. I need those subs. Just 2. Just 2. Anybody. Maybe on the replay crew. We'll see. This one is heytvb.com. He's out there. It's not fair. You've watched us the past 545 days and you haven't said a damn word. We have to wait. And I think this is anger and frustration with the time it's taking. And we can definitely understand that. Brandy says, wiping away her tears, she moved to make another attempt. She's like, pleading for her now 6-year-old to come home. She said, please keep sharing his beautiful smile, beautiful face. He's out there somewhere and we need him home. Please don't forget about him. A week before, on the first ring to schedule an interview in order to keep Michael's face in the news, things had gone quiet for the last few days. So she sat before the camera and did an interview, which a lot of it's on this page. I'm not going to play it, but it's in the description box below. She said it was like any other day in July when Michael was last seen. She told KTVB that Tyler was at home with the kids on the couch playing with Nintendo. Michael went to check on his little sister Aria and they in her bedroom. The dad ordered a pizza and came back out to the living room and Michael was gone, just like that. He called her at work. She sped home and she saw the police at the park. Neighbours said that they did witness Michael in his front yard and on the street in the moments before he disappeared, even attempting to talk to neighbours. He was friendly, she said, but it was unusual. He has wandered a few times, but it doesn't make sense. And of course, that night and into the weeks ahead, the community actually came out in droves to help search. And there was numerous agencies that came across. They brought canines in and they traced Michael's scent to the end of the road. So it's like he just vanished, picked up in a car or something like that. Oh, I got another sub. One more to go, guys. All right. Grandma, do you want to come up and let me know if there's anything that were quite wrong? I will put the link in. Yeah, the link should be in the description box. So if anyone wants to click that StreamYard link and come up, you're more than welcome. Just in case you know more about. This is beautiful. Isn't this beautiful?
Hi.
Hi, Grandma. Good to see you, darling.
How are you?
Good. You're really, really quiet. Is there any way you can turn your mic up or anything?
I can try.
Cool, because you're really quiet. So, Grandma, you said that you worked with the family?
Yeah.
That's better. How did you know them?
Well, I hear an echo.
Do you?
Yeah.
Have you still got me playing on YouTube as well?
No.
Oh, okay, that's weird. I don't hear any echo at all.
Okay.
Maybe you could go down and come back up. I don't know, but I don't hear any echo.
Yeah, I'll do that. Hang on.
Yeah, I'll put my earphones in. There is an echo? Okay. We'll have a look. So this is the first time that I've had someone come up on panel to talk with me. So that's cool. Here she is.
Hi.
Hi. I can hear you better now. How's that?
That's weird. Probably because you're in Monday and I'm still in Sunday.
Yeah,
I
I don't know the lotto results. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. Um, so I got involved with this case because I was one of the first mods for a channel called Novelist True Crime.
Okay.
He's from Ireland, and he was really taken with this case, and he did something called Monkey Mondays. And so every Monday he would do something about Michael Vaughn.
Okay.
And he's actually the person that built and supports the website called findmichaelvaughn.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of got all involved with this stuff. So it's kind of been a nightmare and a roller coaster the entire time.
Yeah.
It's been 600 days now that Michael's been
Wow.
missing. Yeah. Yes, we count. We count
Isn't
the
that sad?
days. It is. But so most of the articles that you went through, because it was quite extensive, thank you. I really appreciate that. Um, okay, so Brandy left for work about
Right.
12:30, okay? Michael was on the couch playing with his Nintendo Switch, his little game. He's playing
Yeah.
Mario Brothers. And so Tyler is Michael's dad. Brandy and Tyler are not married. But Tyler was there, and Michael has a younger sister. They call her Buggy. You'll hear Brandy talk about Buggy.
That's
And
cute.
then Brandy has two older kids from a previous relationship who were much older. They're in
Right.
their teens now, right? So she has a daughter and a son. And so Tyler went into the bedroom about 4 or something, 4:30 in the afternoon to change Buggy's diaper.
Right.
And then he was ordering pizza, came back out to the living room, and there's no Michael. So, of course, they did the looking around thing. He called Brandy at work. She just started working there like a week or two before and said, hey, he's missing. So, she runs home. So, first part of the investigation, there was information that neighbors saw Michael on Ring camera. No, they didn't.
Okay.
They did not.
Oh, they did not.
No, neighbors physically saw Michael at home. One of the neighbors actually sort of scooted him on his way back towards his house, but didn't actually walk up.
Yep.
Oh, good, no echo. And so, I'm sorry. I
You're
just lost. Okay. Da da da. So they do have Tyler on Ring camera driving around when he was looking for Monkey.
right. Okay.
So if you look at their area, there's only one way in and like a dirt road out through some alfalfa fields.
Okay. I'm just going to share that screen as well
Okay.
so we can see.
You're much better at this than I am.
Oh, I don't know about that. I have troubles. Especially when StreamYard just wants to not do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Add to stream. Add. Oh my god, there it is. Okay.
Ta-da!
So,
Okay. So zoom in. Zoom in. Come in the camera. A little closer.
I'm trying.
No. Okay. And whoa. All right. So if you see the big street where the yellow thing is,
Yeah.
that's the one way in and out. Okay.
Right.
And there's actually, I think it's up to the top. I don't know if you can grab it and pull down, but there's a little play area there called a splash pad.
Okay.
A little farther to the left. Okay, go down. Go down. No, you're going up. Go down.
I thought I said I was better than that. This
No, I'm
place?
sorry. No,
Okay,
it's
we've lost that
back
place.
down. Yeah, but it's right around the entrance, and there, the little blue circle thing. It's a
Blue
little
circles.
fountain area. It's a play park for
Okay,
the kids to go. And
gotcha.
so the last time Michael got out, that's where he was headed, was to the splash pad is what they call it. And
Oh,
so
so
that,
he's got out before and done a runner.
yeah, it wasn't a big thing. He wasn't like a constantly running kid, but he is very intelligent. Very, very intelligent. And so and he loves everybody. I talk to everybody, loves everybody. There's a neighbor right around the corner that had like new puppies
Yeah.
and that he'd seen before. And so they checked all the normal places, right? Then they called the police. Police came out. They brought the search dogs. Of course, the first thing they do is search the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
The search dogs tracked him all the way down to the end of the street, to the end of their street, which is by this alfalfa field.
Over this way, I think you can
Right,
see
right
my
where you are.
mouse.
Yeah.
Yep.
hmm Okay, so the search dogs tracked him all the way there and then lost it,
Okay.
which is why they thought abduction,
Yeah,
right?
that's weird, right?
Yeah, unless he was beamed up, Scotty.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people searched literally the first night till like 4 a.m. And there's so many fields and stuff around there. The scary part is that not too far from their house is a big drop off. You can't
Okay.
really tell it on the map. Yeah, you can't really tell it on the map, but if you go down towards the Snake River,
Neck River.
hmm
Oh, yeah, over here.
okay, yeah, there's a huge drop off. And so they thought, well, maybe he wandered over there and he's in the river, da da
Yeah.
da. Okay. All in this meantime, people who love to do this started speculating that Tyler did something to him.
Oh, of course they did.
And then
That's always what they do.
they blamed Brandy, and then they blamed Brandy's dad or Tyler's dad that lives there. It's been a big thing, and they've been attacked over and over and over again. And so we come all this time, and you covered a bunch of it, but in August of last year, they actually partnered with something called Homeward Bound, which is a trucking. It's a company that works with the big semi trailers,
Mm-hmm.
and they put wraps of Michael's face and information on it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That is like incredibly cool. But the reason for that is because by Michael's house, it's literally a hop, skip, and a jump to several interstates.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
this is not too far from Oregon. And so, there was a thought that somebody could have grabbed him, hit on that interstate, and they'd be who knows where.
Yeah.
So I literally printed out flyers and little cards, and I went down to truck stops in my area to hand them out to truckers.
Oh, cool.
So just in
That's
case.
awesome.
Thank you. But so we fast forward ahead, and they figure out Stacy Wandra was arrested on a firearms charge, and it's not been specifically said, but it sounds like he turned in. He said, yeah, we did this. So that's why they arrested his wife, Sandra.
Right.
Right. The weird thing is they had TikTok videos up, and there was one of Monkey's flyers on their refrigerator
Oh, isn't that awful?
behind them in the TikTok videos. Yeah. So they arrested Sandra, and then Jonathan Lee Riches found out that this guy named Brandon Shirtliff and Adrienne Lucien lived with the Wandras at that house on Red Wing.
Yeah.
And JLR got an interview with Brandon Shirtliff. This is before he was announced as a person of interest.
Okay.
Because the Fruitland Police Department said that they had contacted Brandon and Adrian. I don't know what that means. But now Brandon, who they believe is in North Dakota, has a lawyer. And
So he's lawyered up.
he's not cooperating. I haven't heard much about Adrian, but there's also several neighbors around Monkey's house that were non-cooperative. They didn't want to let the police come in and search. They didn't want to answer questions, which is, to me, like, why?
Yeah, same with me. I'm like, why? This is a child missing. Why won't you cooperate? Yeah.
I guess because of their mafia connections. I don't know. If they start looking at me for something, then they're going to find something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you think about this, and Brandy has cried literally every day since Michael went missing. Probably the first month he was missing, she could barely breathe.
Oh, God bless her.
Yeah, and it's just so heartbreaking, and I love Brandy so much. And I've never interacted with Tyler, but I saw him in an interview with her, and he just seems like such a sweet guy,
Yeah.
And so thank you for putting this out for him, because he's probably dead.
They're pretty certain that's the case, yeah.
They have enough evidence that he's dead.
Do you know how they matched it? Like how they found that this house was involved? I don't know the connection.
Because Stacy Wondra, who was in jail, rolled on him.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why they ended up arresting his wife in connection with failure to report a death.
Gotcha. So he went in and he rolled on her.
Yeah. And so Sarah, I don't know why I keep calling her Sandra. Sarah Wondra, well, you read the thing where she's being evaluated for her mental competency to help with her defense. Her first appearance in court, which was by video, but the judge says, "Can you state your name?" And she gives her husband's name.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, and then when they were interviewing her, she was giving out these really bizarre details. And she's the one who said that he's buried in the backyard by the shed. But she was saying he's buried in the neighbor's backyard by the shed. And evidently the neighbor next door is a registered offender.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just what you need.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of things. There's a video of Brandon and Sarah and maybe Adrian, I don't know, who went out to breakfast the day after Michael went missing, and then they went for a drive. And they have a video of them out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh.
I mean,
Okay.
because you saw the map, there's a lot of nowhere out there.
There's a lot of nowhere, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but, like you said, the good things coming out of this are an alert that goes out to local people. That was a first, and a lot of states are looking into adopting that.
Yeah.
So that when there is a child because, and this is handled state by state in the United States, because Summer Wells has an Amber Alert. Okay.
Right.
She doesn't meet the criteria.
It's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah. But in Idaho, and it's up to the Idaho State Police in order to issue the Amber Alert. The Fruitland Police can ask all day long, we need an Amber Alert, we need an Amber Alert. And the Idaho State Police are the ones that say she doesn't meet the criteria or he doesn't meet the criteria. Sorry.
That's awful.
It is. I guess they're afraid, and heard this conversation a lot, that people will get desensitized, like Wyoming was saying, or was it Autumn? Somebody in a blue dress was talking about, people complaining that they're getting Amber Alerts on their phone. And they just don't want it to be where if there's a child that's called in missing, that it's automatically sent out, broadcast wise, because they might be asleep up in the treehouse, you know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it's a
It's a
hard
balance, isn't
thing.
it?
It really is. It's a balance thing because there's always people. Um, yes, Denise, Brandy deserves to know answers and get justice. But here's the thing, you guys, I want to leave you with, and thank you for letting me hop up, by the way.
Of course, honey.
Um, is that when they were searching on Red Wing, and they had, hi Ronnie, and they had all of the equipment out there. This was heavy equipment. They weren't out there with shovels. Okay, they were out there with like a backhoe and a skip loader and dump trucks. All right, Brandy could hear those equipment working
From her house.
from her house. She sat
Yeah.
outside almost from the time that they got there till the time they left. Every dump truck that was filled with the dirt they were going to look through, they were going to sift through, drove in front of her house to get out.
Oh, how awful for her. Oh, that's
Yeah.
disgusting.
So, yeah, there's all kinds of updates and everything on findmichaelvaughn.com. There's even an open letter that Lana Westbrook is like their media manager. And she's a sweetheart. And I talk to her more than anybody else. But she wrote a letter to Brandon Shirtlift's mom.
Yeah.
Because Brandon Shirtlift's mom did a Facebook Messenger thing with KTVB. Okay. And she didn't give much information or whatever. But the thing is, she knows where Brandon is. And, so basically it's an open letter pleading mother to mother, please get Brandon to cooperate with the police. Please let us find Michael. Please let us give some closure and rest to him and his family,
I can't bring up that findmichaelvaughan.com because StreamYard's just been a prick and won't let me. But
And we lost TJ. And it's the Grandma Sherry show. Woo! Oh my goodness. We'll blame Ronnie. Ronnie yeeted TJ. Uh-oh. Yeah. I appreciate the alerts too. Uh, because it's important. When a child like that, a 5-year-old, goes missing, can you imagine how sick you would feel? Because they're pretty trusting. They're out there all alone. Yeah, StreamYard was weird today. I had trouble with it on mine. So I just really appreciate TJ actually covering this and keeping it alive and keeping it out there. There's got to be somebody somewhere. What is it they always say? Somebody knows something. I was kind of hoping TJ would come back. Something's wrong. Please hold. Oh, baby Dior, yes. Does it anybody in here have like alternate accounts or other Google YouTube accounts, like with a different email address? Because as soon as you have Google and you have an @gmail.com address or whatever, you automatically have a YouTube channel. Did everybody know that? Yes, yes, everybody has a channel. And so if you sign up in YouTube with your other Google or Gmail account number, it makes an alternate account. That's why you hear people in chat saying, for some other, okay, yeah. So Steph B, yes. So TJ needs like 1 or 2 more subs before she reaches 2.5. And so if you guys could go into your alts and then come back here and subscribe, we can get her up to that 2.5. Because that's what I did. By the way, if you ever see a chat that says Randy Andy, that's me. That's my alt account. Shh, don't tell anybody. Thank you, Wyoming Adventures. I'm the host now. Oh, there she's at 2.5. Thank you, guys. Woohoo! Thank you, thank you. Aw, thanks, Steph B. I'm sure she appreciates it. And, well, it's been a few minutes, and I'm just as boring as plain white rice. So, I'm going to jump off. And if TJ needs to, she could start another stream for Dior Coons. Is that his name? Right? Yeah, baby Dior. Okay, guys. I love ya. Yeah, she's still not back. Okay, bye.
I'm back. Are you guys back? with me? Can you see me? I'm so sorry. I don't know what went on. Oh my God. The whole thing just shit itself. I was shitting myself, going, oh my God, everyone's going to leave. But Grandma, I know you would have held it over, held it. Thank you. Trust you with my life. So, thank you, my darling. Yes, I'm at 2,502 subscribers. Thank you so much, everybody. That's awesome. So, thank you, Grandma Sherry, for coming up and talking about that. It's awesome, and maybe another time we can get you up here. I love having a panel and having a bit of a discussion on the channel. I think that's really cool. Steph B said, meanwhile, we all subbed up with our other YouTube names while you were gone. You guys rock. And that the fact that you're still here is awesome. So, let's try sharing the screen again, if it works. Who knows? So this was the findmichaelvaughn.com site that Grandma was talking about. I'm going to put this in the description box below, along with all the other resources, if you guys want to look. You made sure Grandma didn't trip. You know what? I have total trust in my subs, that if that happens again and someone is left up on screen and I'm not, that they will be fine. I can trust them, and I trusted Grandma. Steph B, you're my 5th member. Woohoo! That's awesome. Max says, glad you're back. I'm still here, but congrats on 2,500. Hope to see you later on Dad's God Live. Yeah, I'll be there. Okay, so now let's go on to another case that I was looking at from there, and that is the disappearance of little Deorr Kunz. This was also a sad story. Yeah, Wyoming, I wasn't worried about Grandma at all. she's good. So I thought we'd go over a little bit about Dior Coons, and yeah, because this was a very sad story. So this was published in 2015, so we've got to remember that when we are looking through this timeline. It's been 10 days since Idaho Falls toddler Deorr Kunz Jr. was reported missing. Investigators continue to search for the 2-year-old in Deorr, but so far no sign of the boy has been found. East Idaho News has created a timeline to detail the events of the past 10 days. So this is East Idaho News. You might not be sure of the case, but once we get into it, you might actually recognize it. So, on Friday, July 10th, Deorr Kunz Jr., his mother, father, and great-grandfather, and a family friend travel 120 miles from Idaho Falls to Timber Creek Campground in Deorr. So, if we go over here to this map with this big red dot, and we get in properly, this is sort of where the Timber Creek Campground is, and you can see in a minute that it's just a lot of rural stuff. Come on, my shit today, everything's playing up and it's just pissing me off. Now I'm going to start dropping F-bombs because things aren't working. Hold the phone. Oh, frick off then. Just frick off. Cool, Denise. Thanks for listening, darling. Alright. Oh, we're back. Okay. The campsite is remote and takes around 2.5 hours to drive to from Idaho Falls. At 2:28 p.m, Deorr's mum, Jessica, calls 911 and reports that her son is missing. Search crews arrive and begin to look for the toddler. Saturday, July 11th, searchers look on horseback. They use ATVs, foot and in water for Deorr. They focus on a 2.5-mile radius around the campground. One area of concern is a creek about 15 yards away from the campsite. The area is searched numerous times, but of course Deorr is not found. On July the 12th, the Lemhi County Sheriff's Office reports nearly 200 volunteers showed up to look for Deorr. His grandmother tells East Idaho News it appears the 2-year-old just vanished. And it's crazy when people just vanish. Crazy. Volunteer search efforts are suspended, but deputies say trained professionals will continue to look for the boy. On Monday, July 13th, in their only interview, Deorr's parents explain what happened the previous Friday afternoon. They say they no longer believe he's lost, but think someone may have abducted their son and make a plea for his safe return. That evening, around 200 people gather in Idaho Falls for a candlelight vigil. Tuesday, Wednesday, July 14th and 15th, search efforts continue near the campground. Dive crews focus on the stone reservoir located about a 1/4 mile from where they were camping. Deorr's parents remained camped near the site as deputies searched the creek once again and determined that Deorr is not there. Thursday, July 16th. Is that the second F-bomb? Have I been F-bombing and not even noticing? It's been a rough stream, guys, okay? I try really hard not to drop the bombs or other words. But, yeah, I'm me, and I swear worse than a sailor. On a good day. Bad day? Yeah. So on Thursday, July 16th, a representative from the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children arrives in Deorr. The Sheriff, Lindy Bauman, posted an update on Facebook clarifying remarks on the search. National media are now covering the story, including the Nancy Grace show. And I think that a lot of people have differing opinions on Nancy Grace. I'm personally not a fan. But I know she does some good work, and I know that she has a lot of fans. Just not me. Friday, July 17th, the Bonneville County Sheriff's dive team is called in to help search the reservoir. Divers use a sonar robot to assist in foggy waters. Crews on horseback return to the hills near the campground. Saturday, July 18th, it's Deorr's father's birthday. And can you imagine... live chat reminder, guys, instead of top chat. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah, it's his birthday. He spends the day camped yards away from where his son disappeared. Search efforts continue. Sunday, July 19th. It's been 10 days since Deorr was last seen. Crews have scoured the Riverstone Reservoir and Creek. Investigators released few new details, and Deorr's family remains desperate for answers. Up to this point, no evidence has been found to suggest where the 2-year-old would be. I'm going to just pause and take a look at a couple of your comments because I haven't been able to put them on screen, so I'm just going to go backwards and have a wee look at some of them. Wyoming said, that's good. Justice, I'm so glad you're doing something because frick off. Justice for Deorr. I have faith Deorr will be found. Awesome. Keep that faith, honey. Keep that faith. Wyoming says he really needs to be found, so there's closure. Absolutely. Even if he's not found alive, at least if remains are found, they can bring them home and bury him with the family in the way they want it done. Very, very sad. Wyoming said, I've seen so much about Deorr and it's sad that he's missing. talking about how great Grandma is, if someone can put her link, please, in the what is it? The chat. If someone could put Grandma Sherry's link in the chat, that's fantastic. In fact, anyone that comes in and has a channel, they can have a link. All right, let's go to the next one about Deorr. So this one here is Idaho News, and this is a good one. It's got quite a few videos, and I can't play the whole videos because of copyright. On 6th anniversary of Deorr Kunz's disappearance, Sheriff says the search is far from over, and this was July 2021.
All right, so I'm here with Lemhi County Sheriff Steve Penner.
Can you hear that?
6 or 7 years now. Sheriff, you've had been in law enforcement most of your career, or all of your career, right?
Well, it's a little over 20 years.
20 years.
A little over.
And what type of experience do you have as far as the cases you've covered?
Well, we have the same type of cases everybody else does, just not in the numbers. So,
Yeah, I can't play much, but down the bottom. So the Sheriff Steve Penner says Deorr Kunz Jr. deserves to be found, and the investigation for the missing child is far from over. We know he vanished July 10th, 2015, while visiting Timber Creek campground with his parents, his great-granddad, and a couple of friends as well. I mean, there's so many people, adults, that were there. And from what I do remember, I think that one person thought that Deorr was with them, and then other persons thought Deorr was with them, until they came together and realised, oh, actually, he's not with any of us. I think he was staying with the granddad while the others were going fishing or something like that, and he just up and vanished. There has been no sign of him, and nobody has been charged in connection to his disappearance. The parents were named suspects in January 2016 by the sheriff, but they have never been arrested or charged. The parents have claimed from the beginning that they do not know what happened to their son. Publicly, the case has been relatively quiet over the past couple of years, but Penner says investigators are working behind the scene. Thanks for that, Wyoming. We have another search planned for the summer. Normally we have one pretty large one, and then we'll have some follow-ups. So they did have some more professional and volunteer crews on foot, horseback and ATVs, drones, helicopters. They had the whole shizzle. They had the whole shizzle there. 3 private investigators have conducted their own investigations into the case, but no solid evidence on Deorr's whereabouts has been produced. So, I'm putting on my tin hat, and I'm thinking about aliens, because I don't understand how people can just vanish out of nowhere, and never seen again, and there's just no evidence or anything of anything. I just don't understand. He said, I don't know what happened. Was he abducted? Was he a victim of some kind of foul play? Or was it some kind of a nature take? And by that I mean he could have slipped out there and we just haven't found him. He said it could be all 3 of those. Or any 3 of those. Any one of those 3, I'm trying to say. Trina Clegg, Deorr's grandma, says their family remains hopeful that Deorr will be found. An old iPhone belonging to Mitchell was recently unlocked, and the family has enjoyed viewing photos of Deorr over the past few weeks. So that's really nice.
And sadly, we've met under circumstances. But I will say that Trina has been so faithful in her resolve to find her grandson. She is the grandson of this adorable little boy behind us, Deorr Kunz, who disappeared almost 6 years ago next week, 2 weeks from now.
Yep, the 10th of July.
And of course, the monitor just went off, but that's okay. We'll keep talking. So, for those of you that have been following the case, just a quick recap. It was 2015 July when Deorr went camping with his mother and the father and his great-grandpa, Trina's father, and a friend of great-grandpa named Isaac.
So that might be another great interview that you guys might want to look at. We've been sharing these videos back and forth. They're just priceless because there are several pictures that we'd forgotten about. We will do everything we can until the day we all die to find him. We've lost 2 grandpas through all this, and we thought when grandpas get up to heaven, maybe we'll get an answer, but we still... Now, this is the grandma, this lady here. Deorr would be celebrating his 9th birthday this coming December in 2017. The National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children released an age-progressed photo of what he would look like. So, yeah. The sheriff points to cases of people whose bodies are discovered in remote areas years or decades after they vanish. He's hoping it won't take that long to find Deorr, but he is determined to keep working until he does. We have not given up. He's a little boy that's missing. He was lost, and when someone's lost, you look for them. Now, this is actually the parents. So that's going to be very interesting.
I'm not sure what day it is today. Friday at about 2:26 is when was it 2:26? 2:36 is when she called, and I was in the truck hauling down to the road to try and get service because I didn't think one bar would get it. So she got very, very lucky. I was blessed that she was able to get service because I didn't want to try and risk getting halfway through my talking to 911 and having cut off. So I went down where I knew.
So this is a good page. Of course, it's in the bottom, and so you got an interview with the sheriff, you got interview with grandma, and you've got an interview with the parents, which is pretty cool. So there's not much of anything that I found more than this. So if you guys in the chat know a bit more, let me know. You remember this case now, Shauna? Hi, darling. Justice for baby Deorr. Do you have any information? Do you want to come on channel Justice for baby Deorr and give us some more information? You're welcome to. His parents know what happened, you think? Wyoming, speaking of that, David Pilatus did a video about it. Autumn says, you know the Canadian Rocky Mountains and know how easy it is to slip and be lost in the foliage. Yeah, because it's a really rural place. I don't know, you guys would know better. There may be wild animals in the area. Justice for baby Deorr says Trina failed a polygraph. Now, Trina's the mum, is that correct? Then she says along with her daughter and father. So that's very interesting. Autumn says, I have to admit that I'm not a big believer in polygraphs. Well, of course, we know that polygraphs aren't admissible in court. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about them. I think that even if I was innocent, I would be scared shitless to take a polygraph test, right? Because I reckon my nerves and my anxiety would flip it, and I'd be fail, and yeah, wouldn't be good. Wyoming says you think the parents broke apart. Unfortunately, that's quite common when you have a missing child. It does affect the marriages and relationships, so that's really sad. Justice says yes, and mum married again. You remember now. Yeah, it's awful. Justice for baby Deorr says the story of grandpa watching baby is no longer the story. Oh, the news story painted and told by the parents is that Dad was with Deorr the whole time and never went to the creek with Mum and Isaac. Okay, so what I remember being told is that they, a lot of them were going to the water for fishing or whatever, and the granddad stayed behind and Deorr stayed behind, but now we're hearing something a bit different. Wyoming says, yeah, but he's into missing people under strange circumstances. Right. Oh, Trina is grandma. Okay. Wouldn't there be evidence of an animal abduction? Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe. I mean, who knows? He's a little boy. If it was wild animals, it would be pretty easy to take him away. Yeah. Justice, do you want to come up on panel and talk or tell us anything? Because when I search for the latest, I just get really what I've just put out. There's just nothing new. But there is those interviews, which is quite interesting to listen to. Just letting me. Okay, I'm going to read this. I've just found another article that looks interesting, if I can. Because StreamYard is being a fubtard. Stupid fubtard. You know what I mean? Oh, for frick's sakes. Oh my god. Oh, there it is. Okay, we've got it. Let's roll. Okay, this is strangeoutdoors.com. Go away. It's got an ad right there that I can't get rid of. I do not want to flood claim stock clearance. Okay. Oh, no. Piss off. Okay, I got it. Few cursey words getting thrown out there. Okay, this one says 2-year-old Dior Coons Jr. from Idaho Falls disappeared on July 10th, 2015 while visiting Timber Creek Campground with his parents Jess and Vernal. Vernal Sr. The site was close to the stone reservoir and a stream ran alongside. The group was on a family fishing trip when Deorr disappeared around 2:40 p.m. on that day. Mitchell and Vernal's decision to take the family camping and fishing was suddenly and unexpected. According to the other family members, it was to become a fateful decision to head out into the wilderness. Jess and Vernal believed their son's great-granddad was watching him, while the great-granddad thought the boy was down by the creek with his parents. He was wearing a camouflage jacket and blue pants at the time he vanished. The parents' separate 911 calls, police interviews and other evidence triggered an investigation that left more question than answers. Denise says, New Zealand 5 fingers and toes, 3 second other bomb rules. I'm trying. There's been no sign of him that day. Nobody has been charged. Mitchell and Senior were named suspects in January 16, but there was never any arrests, and there's little or no evidence that they had committed any crime at all. The parents have claimed from the beginning that they do not know what happened to their son. They also said they had no idea where the boy was when they were interviewed by the police. Investigators announced that a bone had been found at the campsite in June 2019, but it was from an animal. The case is still open. Steve Pennant is in charge of the case, not only the lead investigator but also the sheriff of Lemhi County. So when the family arrived at the campsite, Michael, Vernal and Deorr put up chairs and lit a fire in the fire pit. Walton went to the trailer and relaxed inside, claiming to have left the door open. They said that they left shortly after arriving to go fishing on the nearby stream, only to return after Deorr Jr. was discovered to be missing. When Jess and Vernal completed their tasks, they shouted to the grandfather that they were leaving, Deorr behind while they looked around the area. However, Walton maintained that he never actually heard them, and he was unaware that he was responsible for the boy. And then 30 minutes later, they say he left. Yeah, justice for baby Deorr. You have any ideas? It's a bit of a weird one for me, I must admit. A very bit of a weird one. I mean, the place that they were camping was so isolated that it takes you 2.5 hours to get there. They never saw any other people there camping or whatever. So what? I think, to me, maybe he got in trouble and fell down into a hole or the river stream thing or whatever. I don't know. Or the aliens just come and got him. Justice Baby Deorr says he was most likely backed up on by Dad's truck. Okay. That's an interesting idea. Of course, this is all allegedly and only speculation because there's no facts and not much evidence to actually figure out what really happened. Denise says the grandma knows something, it sounds like. Deorr Jr.'s parents asked the 2-year-old if he wanted to stay with his granddad or go fishing, at which point he allegedly began walking back to be with his granddad, and that was the last time he was seen alive. Walton said he saw his grandson near the creek, took his eyes off the boy for a moment, and when he looked back, he was gone. Justice says blood was found, but FBI stated that it was washed and couldn't determine whose blood. Where was blood found, Alan? Because, yeah, I never heard of that. So we do have the 911 call transcript by the mum. She called 911 around 2:30 p.m. She says, I'm actually camping in Deorr, just outside of Deorr. My 2-year-old son, we can't find him. How long has he been missing? An hour. Yes. Are you by water? Yes. Do you know which campground you're in? She said it's the Stone Reservoir, Timber Creek. Hold on, we need search and rescue. Operator says, what's your name? What's his son's name? And said Deorr. What was he wearing? He was wearing cowboy boots, a blue pair of like pajama pants and a camo jacket. And he's got shaggy blonde hair. The 911 says, is your husband calling as well? She said, yeah, we're all camping at and we can't find him. Operator said we need you to stay within cell service. People coming that way. Massive searches through the mountain meadows, pine forests, waterways in the weeks and months. On foot, horseback, ATVs. They scoured the remote campground dozens of times. Searches have been performed by air using helicopters and drones. Canine dogs were put in to find any sign of him, and it never says that they found anything. The group travelled 40 minutes down the highway to arrive at the stage shop that had done earlier. So I'll put this in the description box as well. Justice said blood was found by FBI, stated that it was washed and couldn't determine. Got that. It was found on the wheel well of the back of the truck. Okay, that's very interesting. And then she says cadaver dogs have picked up 5 different areas in and near the campsite. Okay. And the parents both failed 5 polygraph tests. Unless you can show me evidence of all that, then we're just speculation and alleging, because no one's been arrested or charged. There is also said to be a cooler missing. Okay. Twice they went to the store then before that. Yes, they went to the store before they came back and decided to go fishing. Crazy. Do you know what? I'm at 2,503 subs, so you guys absolutely rock. You are the best team ever. Thank you so much for that. And today for me is a Monday, but I am going to do a whole lot of nothing. I'm going to do some diamond painting today because the YouTube streets have been really fucking stressful in the last few days. There's been a lot of drama, and I like a little bit of drama, I must admit, but it's been pretty damn full on, I must admit. You do good, New Zealand. Oh, thank you, Janice. I appreciate that. I try to do good, you know. I don't ask for much. I don't get much, but I get subs that I can trust and that are interested in these cases. Yeah. Grandma Sherry says, I didn't hear about the blood. No, I didn't hear about the blood either. But and I haven't read about it. But not to say that it's not their justice. I just haven't seen the evidence of it. Autumn says, I missed some drama. Oh, girl. You have no damn idea. I don't know if you watch any of the channels, the drama channels. Queen Bee is the one that I go, and I go on panel up there sometimes as well. But yeah, these YouTube streets have been effing crazy lately. Oh. Wyoming said, yes, they have been. The channel I got doxed on is down. Yeah. Autumn Falls says, I tend to stay away from drama. Yeah, I must admit, I like a little bit of drama, but I want to stay away from it a little bit. It definitely doesn't come into my live stream and into my channel, because that's not what I do. But sometimes when you're doing nothing and you get on YouTube and there's drama going on, I must admit I go in and I look and have a bit of a chat about it because I'm bored. But I know all the people in, like, all the people are awesome, which makes it much easier. Denise says you go on Queen Bees once in a while. Wyoming says I hate drama. Yeah, well, yeah. Just hang in there, about to 5,000 subs. Just hang in there. I'm hanging in there, Max. I know that it's a slow climb to get subs, but I know that it takes a little time. You know what I mean? I don't expect to be extremely successful. I don't want to get overly big, because then I can't look at the chat and talk to you guys in the chat at the same time. So I don't want anything too but then I want the subs, because I want people to be able to see the content that I make, right? I mean, content's good, but if you've got no one to show it to, so I thought we would bring up the wheel and see what we're going to. The wheel of names. There it is. And I'll show you. You've only been on panel about 4 times. Yeah, I'm getting used to it now. Like, I never used to do it, but I think it's good. When Grandma Sherry came up here, she was able to provide some info that, I didn't know. I think it's good to bounce ideas off other people. I think that's really cool. So, yeah, I think I'd like to have people come up now and again. I think it would be cool. And Wyoming says, yeah, it's how you meet others, and find groups that you feel like you can belong to and that sort of thing. All right, let's go. Click the spin. Even the spin's not making the right noises. It's weird today. And it is Canada. Woo, Canada. So when I come on in a few days, I will look at some stories from Canada. So if you know anyone from Canada, if you know any stories from Canada, you can always send them to me, nzmissing@gmail.com, or go to my Facebook and message me through there. Those links are down in the description box below as well. But yeah, I'm going to have to look into some Canada cases, and I have a couple in mind actually already. So it's going to be really good. Apart from that, I haven't got much left to say. What are you doing for the rest of the day or the evening? Justice says thank you for all you do. No worries. No worries. It's got to be done. And yeah, I mean, even if one person sees this, I mean, it's not likely that I'm going to solve a case, but I just want to put awareness out there, you know, that these people are still missing. Thank you for becoming a member, Steph, because now I got 5, which is awesome. Shauna says most of the Canadian cases I've been interested in concern missing, murdered Indigenous. Is that what you're trying to say? I'm making some dinner and folding laundry, then I might search up a couple of Canadian cases. Yeah, if you have got something that you think's good, shoot it through to me. I'm going to rest today. I'm going to do some of my diamond paintings, just to stay off YouTube for a little bit, and yeah, rest. Alright, my darlings, I'm going to leave. Thank you so much for being here and for covering those cases. I'll see you in a couple of days. We'll look at some Canada cases. And, yeah, I just love you guys. You're amazing. So thank you so much for all your support. Thank you, Grandma Sherry, for holding the fort while things went a bit pear-shaped. Wyoming, honey, you don't have to become a member. It's fine. If you can't, you can't. Being here, liking the stream or unliking it, sub and listening, sharing, liking, whatever, it's enough for me. I love yous. Okay, bye guys.